Ciricillo.
All right, this is the podcast. I'm getting lazier and lazier for this podcast. I am just doing it when I'm ready to do it, which means very little preparation. I'm in a very hot garage, and that's probably the problem. You know, I've decided to do the podcast again, but the problem is it's 95 degrees in this garage. It's hot as nuts in here. I got a guy today looking at it for me to cool this thing off. I'm going to be soaking through this shirt. The camera only lasts about 30 minutes because we're also filming this again. So we're going to put it on the internet, and we have a car in front of us. You probably can't see it in the shot because I've got the camera over it. So I'm in a very tight, cramped space, but we're doing this. We have to just do the podcast, continually put out the product. I have to come to this realization that I am nothing except a talker, a communicator, a comedian, a podcaster, whatever you want to call a guy that speaks. That's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever done. And I like this. I like it. It just doesn't pay a huge amount of money. You know, and it's important. Money is important. I don't care what anyone says. You gotta make some cash. And if you want to really love your life, you gotta make the cash while you're doing something you love, because you don't have a lot of time on earth. You gotta combine the two. You gotta combine the work and the play together. So the whole time is great for you. The whole time that you're living is great for you. That's all we're trying to do, is enjoy the whole time. So, you know, I got the construction school. It's the Construction Comedy School. Look it up. ConstructionComedy.com is the school. Construction Comic is the stand-up comic performances for the construction industry. And CARMENCIRICILLO.com is me doing performances for everything else, which is clubs and private events that are non-construction related, right? Including podcasting, including everything, which is not a lot. Let's face it, I'm getting older, so I don't want to travel so much. I get offers for $300, for $500, for $1,000. It's just not enough. It doesn't move the needle for me. And I know people are like, well, if you could make $1,000 every show, you can't, number one. I can't do that. I'm not saying I get that kind of show. I don't get 365 show offers at $1,000 a piece. I get some pretty good show offers. I get a $5,000 show, a $7,000 show. Sometimes I get a $10,000 show. This is not the norm every week, though. This is once a month. And I know you're saying again, well, Carm, if you could make 5 G's on a show once a month, or 7,000 on a show once a month, it is pretty good. It is pretty good. So I'm not sure what I'm complaining about, except I like to work more often. So I'm not going to get a $5,000 show every day. I'm not a Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm not like a Brian Regan. I'm not. I'm trying to think of a lower level comedian that knocks down just about 400,000 a year just doing stand-up. A lot of stand-ups are knocking down 100 to 200, right? But let me tell you something again. I know everyone's going, oh, that's great. It's a lot of money. You're on the road. You're in a hotel. You're traveling. It's not the lifestyle, especially for a guy who's been doing it. Let's put a number on this, since 87-ish. So we're looking at 37 years. And if I divide it into the amount of time, you know, it would have been probably better to be the dock master at Freedom Boat Club. I mean, I kicked that around today. I was like, dock master. First of all, sounds good. At Freedom Boat Club, sounds amazing, right? And it's in Sarasota. You get to handle the boats. You get to meet people who can know how to boat, which I really don't. Again, adding to my life skill, adding to my fun. Would it be kind of cool? It's going to be 90 degrees all the time, which if you're outside and you're sweating, fine. I'll wear a hat. Who cares what happens to my clothes? I get drenched in friggin' sweat. Who cares, right? At that point, I'm okay. I don't like getting dressed up and like I'm supposed to be a little bit cleaner for this pod. I'm not. I'm wearing this old t-shirt that I have some chocolate on at the top because I was eating not a Dove bar, but a carb, like a low carb chocolate bar where the chocolate kind of flakes off very easily, and it dropped on my shirt as I was laying on a white couch watching YouTube. Again, I know you're like, oh, this guy's got a great life. What's he bitching about? It is a great life, but I'm trying to look for more. I'm the Elon Musk brain guy that doesn't have Elon Musk motivation. I'm reading his book right now, so it's pretty big for me. It's very sad for me. It's very depressing for me because I don't follow. He's amazing. The stuff that he's doing, and I'm on page 225 of who knows, 600 pages of a man who's currently living, and we're talking about what he's done in the last 20 years, and I've been around 37 years. So this fucking book it's hard on me. It's hard on me. I'm reading this book about this great man, and I can't get off the couch to wipe my shirt off, so I kind of rubbed the chocolate in the shirt a little bit, and then I got up, and then I cleaned it, and the stain's still there, and I thought, yeah, well, when you do the podcast, you're going to change the shirt. I didn't comb my hair. This is the worst that I could possibly look. But there's some satisfaction in that, see? It's a test. It's another test. Be who you are, right? This is who I am, and it's very true. I like to lay down. I don't like reading. And I've been reading Elon Musk. I think I brought this up in the last podcast because my son had the book and he didn't read it, so I'm reading it. And now it's schooling me. I don't want to be schooled. The friggin' book is schooling me by every time I read something and I read about Elon, I'm wiping my head because I'm sweating. I know I'm muffled behind it's a terrible towel from Pittsburgh. But every time I read something that Elon's done, or the Elon way, I'm like, damn, I have really got no motivation. I don't have any like bone in me. I try to prod the bone that gets you to do stuff. Like I'll make myself feel bad to the point where I want to cry, but I know you shouldn't cry because I'm a man and men don't cry, so I pull back the tears, and then I try to be more of a man, and then I go out in the garage and there's nothing to do because I haven't set nothing up. You know, to be the Elon of motivation, you got to have plans. That my biggest downfall is, you know, if I set something up for next week, say like this guy who came over to air condition the garage, I had months to call this guy and I didn't. And I finally called him last week to come over, and he's a friend of mine from construction school, so you know, it was nice that he responded quick. And then as soon as he got here, I'm like, well, when are you going to get to work then? Now, I am not a motivation. You know, if this was me putting this vent in, putting the AC in here, and I'm the contractor, and some customers like, well, when are you going to do this work? And the whole time I'm thinking, you know, I'm probably not going to get to this for a while. So what do I tell this person? We're going to get to it right away. And that's what he said to me. You know, within a week, I go, please do not pull a Carmen on me. Don't you dare. I know this game because I play the game better than anybody else, right? So maybe Elon's great at getting shit done. I am so good at putting stuff off, which that brings me back to the schooling of myself, the forced reading, and then the forced get off the couch and go do something. This is what's been going on now. And I'm busy, by the way. I'm in the construction school season. We have seminars. I have gigs every weekend. So you tell me, there's something going on in my head where I'm saying, this is not quality enough. These gigs aren't quality enough. Sebastian Maniscalco is doing theaters. Jerry Seinfeld is doing amphitheaters. You know, the other guy that, my favorite comic that I can't think of his name, Louis C.K., gets whatever he wants. TV shows, FX, theaters, anything. But he's Louis C.K. See, that's the thing now. There's no way I'm not going to get that quality, not going to get that quality gig or offers or consistency unless I sit here, right here, I have this, I got a black notebook that I write in, and I have some notes. Corporate sucks, debate, buying a new car, and reading Elon. So I wrote a few notes before the podcast started, but this is my book of stuff, right? This is my book of, well, here's some new jokes, here's some thoughts, let's piece all this together. And I have about 100 of these, I swear to God, I got 100 of these notebooks. And I have no system. And then I use like the notes on my phone, and I have a laptop where I write shit, and I got a voice recorder that I talk into. So So I drive myself absolutely insane with the ideas, then the placing of the ideas, then the recovering of those ideas, and then to try to organize those ideas into comedy is so exhausting that I just sometimes just want to lay down, get another chocolate bar, turn on Love After Lockup, go to the gym. It's not on my list. Go to the gym is not on the list. And I go to the gym, again, here's something I don't like. I don't like reading. I don't like doing much. I don't like going to the gym. Now, what do you like, Carmen? What do you like, right? What do you want to do? Do you want to be the successful comedian? Okay, sure. You just want to drop in there because you watch Stupid I Dream of Jeannie. See, when I was a kid, I was handed a fantasy that this chick, nice rack, all she had to do was blink. Was she the blinker? She was the blinker with the arm crossed, and she would get you whatever you want. And then Bewitched, right? Darren, the husband, has got a witch for a wife that's hot again. She's not showing a lot of cleavage, but she's pretty. And she's a cute witch. They had a little cartoon in the beginning where she rode a broom. And then she basically could provide him with anything he wants again. So I think I was raised on this idea that, what do you want? Let's blink. Let's ask for it, and it happens. And it never has, but I'm still waiting for it. It's not like I'm not waiting for it, because I think it's going to happen. I can't turn off that crazy switch in my head that goes, dude, those were shows. You're never going to relive your childhood. You're never going to relive your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your 50s to clean up all the mistakes that you thought were going to happen, all the things that you thought were going to happen that did not happen. You can't go back there and clean it up. So now you're in your 60s. Do you really think you're going to change much? That's a pretty good question. That's a pretty good question. Do you think you're really going to change much? No. If you're going to be honest, let's be finally honest and say, I'm not changing. I've lived a good chunk of my life already. You think that I'm going to be able to all of a sudden, I have done these things where I've been to the gym for a month in a row. I've dieted pretty good, like low carbs for a good year and a half. Like I can do portions, I can do sections, I can do certain allotments of time where I can do this clean system or routine or discipline. Now to do it over and over and over again like Mark Wahlberg. Now you see I compare myself to all these different names. You got Mark Wahlberg, I didn't mention Eddie Murphy, I mentioned Lucy Kay, Sebastian Maniscalco, Elon Musk, and by the way, I have a trait that as I'm reading some of this stuff or watching some of this stuff, I start developing maybe a jealousy or a internal of what would Elon do, what would Louis do, what would Eddie do, so I could figure out how I could fit into those slots of those people and be that successful. What would Warren Buffett do? Right? You start watching the stock market and you listen to what he's done or what he says, and you're like, this guy, does he really do this? I mean, was he really reading that book that Charlie Munger told him to read back in 1960 something? And I bought the book. I bought it. It's heavy. I knew there's no way I'm going to read this. I just think there's going to be some magic bolt of lightning that's going to strike me and I'm going to change. And it doesn't happen. What happens is me trying to stay on course. I don't want you to think it's all, it's not all not happening. Some of the stuff's working. Some of this stuff is working. I just don't think now, after all these years, that there are going to be many Sebastian Maniscalcos. There's going to be many Eddie Murphys or Richard Pryors. The people that we have on the tip of our tongue, these people who are famous and these people who have made it in certain things. And by the way, it really doesn't even have to be stand-up comedy. Like I said, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. These are 90-year-old men that I could still feel jealousy. I could still feel envious of, God, that guy's smart. God, he knows what he's doing. So he researched every company before he bought their stock. Does everybody do that? Because I'm not doing that. I'm looking at Kramer on television, or I'm reading Morningstar, and I feel like it's gambling in some ways. I'm throwing money at companies. It's big chunks of money, But these are big companies, and then I'm just kind of following the advice of these leaders, which is the same as me listening to the guy that wanted to put HVAC vents in my garage. I don't know exactly. I mean, I do. It's not as hard as investing in, say, United Rentals, because Apple's an easy one, right? Apple's easy. Nvidia's been kind of easy, but United Rentals, right? They rent out, I guess, scaffolding, things for the construction industry. I don't know much about that company. They're not in the news all the time. I don't see their CEO giving speeches or people touting the great CEO of United Rentals. So that might be a harder company. I might have to actually read their report. But their stock has been doing really well. And I've just been buying it because the talking heads told me. So the guy who tells me about the HVAC, I'm not jealous of this guy. I am not jealous of the HVAC guy, right? Kind of. In some ways I am. He had a beautiful truck. He was telling me about his big ass ranch and his 4,000 square foot outbuilding. And he's successful. But see, that's a path I don't want to go down. Like, there's some paths in life that I think I could be really successful at. But I would not believe I would be happy or I would want to stay in those paths. And the whole time, if I was a dock master at Freedom Boat Club, if I was the dock master at Freedom Boat Club, there would be a point I would be like, I should be putting this time cleaning boats into writing material. So at least I know, I think I know. Hang on, let me look at the time because the camera's gonna go off. At least I know that I kind of want this certain path. I really do. And even at 61, I'm not quitting. So this is really positive for those of you who haven't done shit and want to try to do stuff, because if you haven't been succeeding and you think it's over, it's not over. As long as you're up and living and breathing and you got a day on the couch and you're watching TV, that whole day could have been doing something toward this goal, toward what you want to do. It's not wasting time. Not if you like doing it. That's what I'm saying. If you can combine that wasting time with money and work. No, wait, not wasting time. If you can combine that, I like doing what I'm doing. Okay? Now, say cars too, because I get jealous of the guys that know how to work on cars. If I was an auto mechanic and I could pull a car apart and have the ability to leave the parts in the garage all scattered, because I can't do that either. You know, if I knew how to pull the car apart, leave the car parts scattered, and leave everything in a messy, unorganized way, go to bed, get up, rework on the car, still leave it looking like shit, and eventually after 6 months, I come out with a 68 or 9 Camaro RS retro mod, beautiful, and works and runs, the brakes work, the air works, the car started, and that was me. Yeah, I mean, I would like that a lot. I would like that a lot. Again, I don't know if that would be my path. I am jealous of those guys. I am envious of your skill. I applaud you. I respect that you've put all this friggin' time into doing that. And those of you who can play guitar. Oh, the jealousy is huge on that. I mean, that instant gratification. Could you imagine if you picked up a guitar and it was like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie, where you say, I want to play the guitar like I don't know who. Again, I can't attach names to people like that. Like I've seen Prince play guitar. Someone in Led Zeppelin plays guitar. Somebody in Guns N' Roses plays a killer. His name is Slash. Okay, there you go. Those guys, I don't really attach a fan thing to those guys. When I see them play, I'm like, damn, that's awesome. Really, it'd be really cool. And you know what it's for? The whole reason would be showmanship. Not that I would be, I don't know, would I be happy by myself playing the guitar for just me? That's a big one, see? And maybe that's what cracks this whole thing open for you and for me. What you're doing for me is a favor by listening to this. It cracks open the idea that you only care, Carm, about shit that people watch. You want to be watched, right? All the people you've been talking about have been on television. You've been watching them on some type of media. Like I only talked to you about the HVAC guy. He's the only one that's not been on camera, right? He's not out there. He's not on television. He's not being showcased on YouTube. He doesn't have a million hits. But yeah, I did have some jealousy about him because success. Now, if you look at my life, if I told you, all the success I've had, and that's not my point of this whole thing, because My point is dissatisfaction, like having more is a dissatisfaction, which I don't think is bad. I think you really should continue to strive to achieve more and not to buy. Like, I'm not buying nothing, and I have okay cash. I'm not buying a lot of stuff. I'm sweating my nuts off in a hot garage in a smaller place because I am a conservative in the way of don't waste, right? What if we need that money for other things that are important? Now, I don't know. So far, so good. My healthcare costs a lot of money. It's like 2 G's a month. So if that continues to go on, I don't know how much more that I could actually save if they keep draining it, if they keep taking it, if the stock market doesn't do well. So you got to be kind of careful. You know, there's a thing called fuck you money, which is where you get so much money, you can basically tell people, fuck you. And I've heard Adam Carolla, another guy that I do like and listen to, has the fuck me money. So much money that he can cause his own problem. I think that's how he described it. But the whole point is, yeah, don't think that you gotta, it's not that I'm very proud. No, I'm very, proud is it's just dumb. I'm very proud. Well, what? Proud? I'm very okay with I did good. You know, I actually have a career as a comic. What I'm not that keen on is I'm not enough of a hustler in my eyes. And maybe someone else could judge me differently. I'm very hard on myself. All right, so that was a topic that was not on my sheet. I have something written here that says corporate sucks. Now, the only reason I put some stuff down on paper, usually I shoot everything off the hip, which I could easily do still. So I'm not sure why I did this, except I was suggested to do this by my daughter. My daughter is, you know, she's a critic, but I respect her opinion because she is out there. She understands the online people, the groups of people who are in cyberspace watching this kind of thing. She's not good in the social aspect of it. She's not out there in a comedy club where she understands an audience. I'm good at that, but you know, I'll take advice. We'll see how it works. So I wrote it down. Corporate sucks, and that really has to do with what I said about this Freedom Boat Club. Having a job with anybody, I think is, for me, it's the opposite of happiness. My number one goal in life was not to work for somebody. I said that all along. I didn't want to work for anybody, even if I was not making enough money in what I was doing. I would figure out another way to survive that didn't need money. So I would grow food. I would live in a smaller trailer or something I built. I would supplement what I needed for money through labor, which I still do. You know, I'm still doing that. Like, I moved this whole condo myself. I tore out I never hired a mover I had a 5,000 square foot house. Never hired a mover. I sold everything, right? I rented box trucks. I rented storage units. Never hired outside help. Me, my daughter, and my wife, right? And mostly me that carried this stuff to those storage units and back into this place because I felt like that's what I've always done. I'll put sweat equity into a lot of things that I don't want to spend the money on. And that's one of the ways that I have achieved a level of savings, right? So I think that I could do almost, if I didn't have any real income, say it was a small amount of income and it was selling oranges on the street. Is that a job? Door-to-door seeds. These are things I used to do as a kid. What would I do as a painting? I could paint, right? I painted once. I go back to painting. Painting houses to survive, to have money, and you know, and make a little bit of money, and then the rest for food. Maybe I could grow the food. Maybe I would live not in a place that was like Sarasota's expensive. I would live in a cheaper place, and this was a cheaper place. That was another sweat equity deal that I did. I was living in Los Angeles, and I said, you know what? Too much money. Instead of me making more money, trying to move up this ladder of I got to have more cash to live in it, I'm moving. I'm going to move to a cheaper place, and then I'll put that extra time doing what I want to do, you know, trying to be happy, trying to accomplish what I'd like to do in my career and my life at the same time. And it worked. It worked. Now Sarasota is expensive, and I've reaped the benefits of coming to a place that has grown and done well. That's why I sold the house. So you make some money, and now you move on to that next level. And it's not just the house, but it's the construction comedy and the stand-up comedy and the idea of sweat equity and not working for that corporation. Corporations, I think, are a problem. I really do. I know they exist, and many people work for them, but man, they got you, right? They got you. They're going to tell you what to do, and you're going to be okay with it. You're going to rationalize it. You're fine going to that place or working for that person or listening to that person on Zoom or in a meeting. And man, that is like my limits right there. I mean, I have a real tough time with that. I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched. That'd be my first wish. Get me out of this Zoom call. Get me out of this business. How do I escape this kind of stuff? I would not be happy with that. So that kind of stuff, I think, is where I should really appreciate the fact that I did what I wanted to do. I escaped a life of, it could have been like chains for me. You know, wearing a tie and a suit is like wearing an iron suit, iron mask. I'm stuck in this thing. I never wanted to wear that stuff. Like today I have a hard problem. Like if I go to a funeral, and I know the tradition is you put on a suit and a tie and la la la, but I don't think that the lead singer from Aerosmith does that. I don't think he goes out and buys a suit from the Men's Warehouse. What's his name? Steve Perry? I don't think that he ever did that. I bet you the guy from the Rolling Stones. And you can't believe it, Mr. Jagger, Mick Jagger. I bet you Mick Jagger never went out and bought a friggin' suit at Men's Warehouse because there was a funeral. He showed up like Mick Jagger. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I want to show up like me. So who's going to tell me I got to put on a suit? Well, it used to be my mom. You got to put on this. Then it was, you know, the school, a certain dress. And then it was my wife. And then now my kids who are constantly trying to tell me how to dress, what to wear, how to look. And, you know, you make some sacrifices when you get married. And you agree to some things. And you don't want a lot of strife and argument. Sometimes you'll follow along. But that's not what I do. I will not wear a suit. I'm not going to look bad. I'm not going to look disrespectful. I'm coming, and if it's a funeral or a wake or whatever, if it's a somber situation, I got to take it all into account. Was this person young when they died? Was this person old when they died? Was this person, you know, what kind of death is this? Yeah, because certain funerals, yeah, we all have to kind of say that was a good life. That's why they call them celebrations, and people go and they have a good time. It's just traditions of some people in some religions or races or whatever it is decide, no, we put on a suit and that it's formal and then you're quiet. Fuck that, man. Did you ask me to come? If you don't want me to come, because I'm not gonna do what you want me to do, please understand that that's why I'm glad not to come. By the way, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm not going. I just decided, and I have been deciding to skip funerals. I see you when you're alive. It's not a cocky statement. I do see you. Guess what? I saw you when you were alive. I made sure I saw you, and I wanted to see you. I wanted to see you. Okay. So this is not me doing you a favor. I'm not even sure you wanted to see me, because you know sometimes people don't want to see me, and I understand that. I'm a handful when it comes to people. I don't like boredom. I don't like the same old, and sometimes I like to stir it up for fun, and I know you don't. I know you like the quietness, and you were looking for peace, and you don't want the chaos, but that's why I choose, you know, to stay away sometimes. I get the hint, I understand it, and believe me, I don't want to disrupt your life, so please don't disrupt mine. That's where the corporation comes in. Man, they're disruptors. They're really not great, are they? Corporations with the whole idea of now following along with all the global world order of this is how it's gonna be. I'm not even getting into that topic. I can't put the suit on, let alone comply with everything else. Tomorrow is the debate. Maybe we end on that. I don't know. Let's see how this debate talk goes. I made a joke today on Facebook, and I said, you know, our country has no sense of humor. It is the biggest corporate piece of shit right now. I mean, you talk about being a corporation, being in the government and not getting anything done and not having a friggin' sense of humor. There's not one politician I would point at and go, this guy, he's cool. This guy gets it, he's funny, he knows how to make people comfortable, he knows how to make people laugh. It's a lot of anger, a lot of behind the scenes, very mean. I don't deal with it. I don't deal with it. I watch it, I hear about it, but my daily life is, unless, they come to me and ask me for something like money for taxes, and I got to deal with the rules of how to live in society. Otherwise, I don't got to see these people. But I thought, whoa, God, what a bunch of mean, the anger, no humor. I thought, wouldn't it be great if they could just lighten it up a little bit at this debate tomorrow? Biden comes out, and instead of Trump, Shane Gillis shows up, I'm not a big Shane Gillis fan. I mean, I could care less. I'm just saying it'd be kind of funny. I would respect that as a decision of comedy. I'd be like, oh, that was funny. They brought Shane Gillis out to impersonate Trump for a second. And Trump went along with it, and Biden was cool with it. And then they started the serious talk, but they weren't too, fuck. You think that's going to happen? I can't even do that within my own, not my immediate, what do you call it? You got a family that you made and a family that you were brought up in. The extended family, we just, after a certain amount of joking, people get very serious. And you wish that people had better senses of humor. They just don't. They take it very seriously, or they really look at it. Like I said, I like to stir it up, make some noise, embarrass people, embarrass myself. And some people don't want that. Well, why not? Why not? You just wanted to get through the whole day today without looking dumb. You look dumb. You do look dumb. You're a human. I saw you walking. You swing your arms weird. You look dumb. Most of us have moments of pure stupidity and, we're going to try to catch ourselves. We're going to try to fix it. And, I didn't mean that. You know what the coolest thing is? You just go with it. And you don't have to be high. You don't have to be Spicoli and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But he was funny. Sean Penn was funny in that movie, that laissez-faire, carefree hippie, eating pizza, no shirt, in science class, pissing off, the guy that played the Martian in the TV show, the teacher that was in his classroom. I thought Sean Penn was funny too. What happened to that? Here's the guy that got serious. De Niro got serious. He was great. Serious people. Cher is serious. I mean, I don't even like Cher. I like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, the song. That a serious song? Listen to it again. It's a funny song. I don't think that was her life. And it was, it was tongue-in-cheek, whatever that means. Tongue-in-cheek meaning it's not necessarily true. We're just kind of alluding to something that could happen, or a kind of a exaggeration of something, Gypsies, tramps, and thieves, we hear it from the town they call us. And every night the men come around and lay their money down. You think Cher was part of that? Okay, that's what I'm saying. She was with Sonny. Who knows what the hell was happening? But they were funny, and they lightened up the mood. My God, we constantly need the mood lightened up. Why do you think we love dogs? The little looks they give, or the stupid, cute little things they do. Right? Cats are a little more aggressive. A dog can be cute and funny, and people are all over that, all over the dog video, all over of, look how funny, look at this video of this dog, and he's looking out the window, waiting for his master to come home, but we can't be funny as humans. We're a little too tight. Shit's crazy out there. That's why. A guy builds a business and he fills it with goods, and you got a group of people coming in and smashing windows and stealing his stuff. He ain't gonna laugh. His humor's gone. What about killing? You stole all this guy's stuff, right? You stole all his stuff, all his goods. You got away with it. The police aren't arresting these people. It's not the goods, man. You destroyed this man's humor. how could this man be a happy person after you destroyed something? Just think about the time it takes to stock a shelf, or it's like dominoes. You ever put up dominoes? Just set up 100 dominoes on the floor and have someone accidentally, not even on purpose, knock a domino over and all the dominoes fall down and you got to restack them. Think of this guy at Walgreens. Think of these people who have spent their life, right? I think about Hilton, Conrad Hilton. I read his book, Be My Guest is the name of the book, and how he cared so much about serving people and wanted to build hotels and make sure people were taken care of, and had amenities added to his place, and had service, and the way he, the whole book was about that. And now you think about how would he feel? How would he feel about how people treat those who are in the retail service, hotel service, store service, contractors, people who do things, waiters, waitresses, flight attendants, people who are out there serving the public. I don't think politics serve the public for shit. That whole thing of people saying, serving the public. We serve the public. You didn't serve nothing. You got paid. You had free lunch. You had limos. You had protection. At the upper levels, who knows what these people get? The president gets a library and protection for the rest of his life, and book deals and mega bucks and all kinds of shit. And you're going to tell me you were in service to the people? No. Now, the guy that's in service to the people is the guy from Firestone. On a Sunday, 15 minutes before they close, and I come in off the road praying that he's still open because I got a nail in my tire and I got another 8 hours to drive, and there he is. And he's willing to take my car and fix it. That'll tear you up a little bit. How's that person doing that, right? And then dig a little deeper, right? That was the whole idea of Undercover Boss. The undercover boss would find the story of these people who were so dedicated to these businesses, yet in their own life they were suffering and struggling, and maybe had 2 jobs, and maybe their husband left them, or their wife left them, or maybe someone died, or maybe they had a disease, but they were still coming to this job and never mentioning it, never sticking at anyone's face. So the debate is not going to have humor. I don't think there's going to be a light moment. Trump will try to lighten it up a little bit, but Biden won't go for it, and he'll just get mean. He shouldn't be up there. He's old. He doesn't really function well. It's not a great thing to watch him. You feel bad because this is someone that you love, right? An older person who's having a hard time. Imagine being him. So yeah, it's not great, and there's not going to be humor. CNN's not going to bring the humor. Why should there be humor, you say? Why should there be humor? Did you say that? I just told you why. We are hurting as a country, and somebody, you remember when your dad could lighten them? Well, my dad couldn't. What could lighten the mood when there was trouble? A good teacher. If you had a good teacher and stuff was not easy, the teacher who really loved the students, right? Someone who really loves or wants to make everyone get through whatever they're in charge of, knows how to lighten the mood so you feel good no matter what the situation is. I'm sure that if you're in prison and it's a suffering, sick shit life, maybe you deserve to be there, but every so often you can appreciate the guard who does something that he doesn't have to do, that makes you laugh or smile for a second, makes you forget, right? The smiling and the laughing really makes you forget. It is so important to forget, instead of dwelling on the bad things is what the news is. That's what you do, news. Thank you for bringing the OCD of dwellingness. And it is, right? Because you're obsessed, you're compulsive about it. Maybe it is a disorder. Maybe it's a disorder. Maybe the disorder is by somebody who can't see the light, that is destroying people with this. That's got to be, if you talk about evil, super evil. Let's jump to something else, because I'm getting hotter. I'm just hot. Last thing, one more thing. I talked about reading Elon. Been talking about buying a new car about 5 years now. again, if I can make the car from scrap in the garage, and I knew what I was doing, I probably would do it. I can't make cars. I can't build a car. I can check oil, can't change oil. I can I can do like cleaning. I can make you feel good about your car. You know, I can hear noises. I don't have the skill to build it, so I got to buy it from somebody else. But I also have that, oh man, do I want to spend this kind of money? My car's pretty good. So because of this Elon book, I've been looking at Tesla from a distance. I have not touched one, opened a car door. I've never driven in one. I've been looking at them on TV or, you know, when I see one on the street. And you know, I ignored it for a long time, but you know, maybe my dissatisfaction with buying a car, because I was saying it's so expensive to buy a car, and they're all looking the same. They're all looking the same, except the real high-end sports cars that have no utility. What am I going to do with it? I need some room. I got to have a cup holder. You know, I had a Porsche once, a Boxster, and it didn't have a cup holder, and it wasn't good. It was hard to get into, and the oil change was like $400, and that was in 1999, 2000. So the dilemma now is, well, what are you buying cars for? It'd be cool to have a Tesla, I think. You know, the technology, the self-driving, the horsepower in this vehicle, just the idea that it is traveling on some other type of fuel. Like, I'm okay with fossil fuel, but wow, kind of cool that it's traveling on something else. And I understand what's going on. It's coal plants lighting up the electricity, but eventually, this guy, I believe in Elon Musk. I mean, he don't know me, I don't know him that well, but he gets stuff done. He thinks it and he finishes it. That's the most impossible thing in this country for most people. I understand that's what corporations do too, so let's not go back on the corporation thing. That's why they got to keep you in line. You got a leader, right? You got a leader that's telling you what to do, and you got to get it done, because that's the profit. That's how the business stays open. I'm not interested in being led, you know, and I'm not interested in you telling me what to do. So I want to be a jackass when I want to be a jackass. And obviously, he would never hire me. I wouldn't want them. If they said Carmen was brought in on the new Tesla model, you better run. You better run, man, because I don't know how I got that. I mean, I could probably talk my way into this. Seriously, I could talk my way into a Tesla job. But if you see me on the board or giving advice, but just stay away from that. It's not a good idea. I don't know what I'm doing, and these guys do, and all these people who are doing what Tesla does. In fact, they're an American car maker, making cars in this country, making their own factories, making the tools that make the cars, making the batteries, building a battery super factory, and on top of that, launching rockets. Probably going to have to save the two people that are up there right now that Boeing and everyone else sent up there through United Launch Alliance. And he's got the Neuralink, right? Look it up if you don't know what it is, but it's helping people who, right now, who are paraplegic, quadriplegic. I guess it's quadriplegic. I'm getting tired. So we're going to end this. If I had a guest, I would make him talk a little bit, or her. But since I don't have anybody, we're done for today. My whole goal was to get this done. I'm sweating. I did the motivation. I got off the couch. I cleaned the ice cream off my shirt. And I came out here to talk to you